Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who decided to subscribe to my channel. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal for me. I'm at 36 subscribers now, which is just so fucking great. The other thing is I wanted to mention that I'm making my videos in English because I have audience from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Russia, and other countries from Ukraine as well. And if I make videos in Nepali, I will be isolating a huge part of my audience. In order to prepare for this video, I watched several movies. Those movies were The Notebook, Rebel Without a Cause, A Walk to Remember, and 10 Things I Hate About You. So in this video, we will be analyzing bad boys in popular culture and a little bit in social media. We'll be talking about the tropes and we will be talking the science behind women liking or disliking bad boys. So as every video starts, we have to start with the definition of bad boys. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a bad boy is a man who says or does things that shock other people, especially a young and successful man who does things in a way that is very different from the usual way. He's basically a rebel. I also came across another definition when I was watching the movie A Walk to Remember. According to that movie, a bad boy is dangerous, careless, and the worst kind of bully. In order to understand bad boys better, we have to talk about some examples that are available in pop culture. I will also be talking about bad boys present in social media, predominantly in TikTok. The first example is Hardin Scott from the movie After. He has a certain mental trauma, and his mental trauma is taken care of after he starts going out with Tessa, his special girl who is so special that she can move tectonic plates with her niceness and her dorkiness. The second and one of the sexiest examples, according to me, is Damon Salvatore from the series The Vampire Diaries. When he's with Elena, he's extremely loyal, but when they separate, he transforms himself into a playboy and starts sleeping around because he's heartbroken. Despite the cliche bad boy that he is, he's still one of the sexiest. The next is Billy from the series Stranger Things, because he's clearly a bully, but we understand why is he a bully in the second season. It's because of his treatment by his father. Since his father is a bully, so is Billy. But we never get to see him being quote-unquote changed by his special girl in the series. Despite people vehemently disagreeing that Edward Cullen is a bad boy, I would still like to argue that he is. He carries a lot of guilt from him killing criminals in the very beginning when he had just transformed into a vampire, and he's guilty about killing those criminals. James Dean from the movie Rebel Without a Cause is another classic example of a bad boy. However, after watching that movie, I kind of concluded, this is just purely my opinion, that being a bad boy at that time was more about defending one's manliness and honor rather than the current tropes of bad boy that a guy has. The male protagonist from the movie A Walk to Remember is another bad boy who's extremely reckless and arrogant before he meets his love interest, but after he falls for his classmate, he completely transforms. Even if Heath Ledger dispelled rumors of him being a criminal by the end of the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, he's still a bad boy because he smokes and has this devil-may-care attitude. After falling for the girl, he changes himself as well. I think that the male protagonist in the movie 365 Days is as much of a bad boy as I'm funny. I, however, felt like I had to mention this character because a lot of TikTok bad boys make their content revolving around stalking and being a serial killer, basically revolving around being a criminal. I will be talking about tropes in a while, which is why I brought up the male protagonist of 365 Days. For me, my traits of being a bad boy is he should have an inner mental turmoil and has a rebellious streak to him which screams devil may care. Now we have to talk about the bad guys that are predominantly in TikTok. As an avid YouTube viewer, I haven't downloaded TikTok because I think that app is sketchy as hell, but I did watch one of my favorite YouTubers, Danny Gonzalez, make a video named Bad Boys of TikTok and POV Point of View I'm Your Vampire Dad. Both videos on bad boys of TikTok. I will be linking both those videos in the description box. I can't really say exactly what these bad boys are like, so I'll let you make that decision on your own. I think bad boys in TikTok are usually followed by a large teenage audience. That's the only thing I had to say. I hope you made up your mind on guys in TikTok. Now comes the part that I find very, very interesting. We will now be talking about the tropes that bad boys have in popular media and social media, but predominantly popular media. The first one is being romantic through emotional blackmail. This is done in the movie The Notebook, where Ryan Gosling threatens to kill himself if his love interest didn't agree to go out with him. The other trope is the bad boy has casual sex with tons of women. James Bond is a perfect example of this trope. He has tons of casual sex with tons of women throughout all those James Bond movies. I do have to state, however, that I haven't watched a single James Bond movie because there are around 15 of them. The third trope is he's extremely possessive or protective towards their SO, significant other. Harden is the perfect example of this. He is ready to beat up anyone that so much as breathes around Tessa. The other trope is he's extremely aggressive. The man from 365 Days is extremely aggressive towards the girl, and this is very much painted as something very romantic. The next trope is he has immense physical prowess. Almost all bad boys examples that I've given have immense physical prowess. They are very strong and can protect the girl very, very well. The next trope is bad boys don't understand no means no. For bad boys, no is just one step closer towards sex. Persistence is another trope. Bad boys also keep persisting even when a girl keeps rejecting him. Keep persisting until you hear a yes is what they think. This is predominantly seen in Bollywood movies. The next trope is they are very good looking and muscular. Almost all of the bad boys that I mentioned before are extremely attractive. Even if they're not muscular, they definitely are extremely attractive. Their attractiveness hence is an excuse to all of their horrible behaviors. The next trope is he's unredeemable, but he also settles down for that one quote-unquote special girl. Bad boys are usually portrayed as this unredeemable character, but when they meet this one quote-unquote special girl, they completely transform from this unredeemable self to their good guy self. The next trope is they are very, very charismatic and charming. In the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, Heath Ledger is so charming and charismatic with his looks and his witty quips. Although he doesn't come off as a bad guy like Harden Scott, Heath does have extremely quick quips and charm that no one except for Robert Pattinson in the Twilight movie franchise can compare. The final trope is almost all bad guys have this devil-may-care attitude. Most bad guys that are portrayed in pop culture don't actually care what other people think. From A Walk to Remember's Landon to Harden in the After movie series, they all have devil-may-care attitude. If I missed some tropes, please let me know in the comments down below. So what does the science say then? I read a Harvard document that summarized 7 papers which had researched if women preferred bad guys to good guys. The Word document by the Harvard website starts out by stating that the studies are inconclusive because some papers concluded that women prefer nice guys to bad guys and the other studies concluded otherwise. In order to understand these papers and how it was summarized, we have to start by defining bad guys and nice guys. According to that document, a nice guy is a man exhibiting the mating behavioral tendencies desired by women, and a bad boy is a man exhibiting the genetics and resources desired by women. Bad boys are dominant, suggesting the superior heredity and resources that women desire, which are the genetic characteristics. Nice guys, on the other hand, are agreeable, exhibiting the dependability and commitment that women appreciate, which are the behavioral characteristics. So this might be a mouthful and pretty difficult to understand, but what I meant here is that bad guys and nice guys are two different kinds of people, and basically what the Word document says is bad guys have the genetic characteristics that women require, and good guys or nice guys are the behaviors that a woman requires. So bad guys have the genetic characteristics while nice guys have the behavioral characteristics. Male dominance, the overarching quality encompassing the physical attractiveness and possession of resources that defines a bad boy, has been linked to higher perceived attractiveness and to a higher number of sexual partners. The results of one study done by Bogaert and Fisher established that ultimately women choose bad boys more often than nice guys as sexual partners. Another study done by Sadella also concluded that males exhibiting dominant characteristics, which is the characteristic of bad guys, prefer bad guys to nice guys. So both of these papers that I recently mentioned, both of them conclude that women prefer bad guys to nice guys. However, women don't prefer quote-unquote pure bad guys. Women desire men who exceed a certain number of bad boy qualities. Bad boy qualities are a requirement that must be met, and nice guy attributes are attractive only once an individual has proven himself sufficiently bad. Scientific studies, including examinations of actual female behavior, suggest that women are attracted to these bad boys even as they claim to seek out nice guys. The Word document also stated that there is a discrepancy between what women actually want and what they claim to want. A woman's claim to want a nice guy is actually a desire for a bad boy who treats her as if he were a nice guy, not a desire for a nice guy on his own. Okay, I think I have to explain this as well. What this Word document said was that what women say they want and what they actually want, they found discrepancies in them. And what they concluded is that women want a bad guy which has nice guy attributes. So women neither want a pure, quote-unquote, pure bad guy or a pure nice guy. She wants a man to fulfill a certain number of bad boy characteristics and have nice guy characteristics that will be beneficial to them. So when a woman is going through the high fertility phase of her menstrual cycle and when she wants a short-term fling, she is willing to hook up with bad boys. However, women who, for example, adopt a more restricted socio-sexual orientation that promotes long-term mating, for such women, the nice guy's commitment and parental investment is crucial. This means that in pursuing a bad boy in any relationship, a sufficiently desirable woman has the potential to obtain the ideal, a mate who exceeds a certain bad boy threshold but still treats her as if he were a nice guy. By contrast, a woman pursuing a nice guy has little hope that he will ever become desirably bad. The paper is concluded by arguing that nice guys may or may not finish last, but nice guys who also exceed a certain bad boy threshold are in fact very likely to finish first. Since the shortcomings of nice guy is genetics and shortcomings of bad boys is behavioral, bad boys have an advantage here because they can just modify their behavior. Nice guys, on the other hand, don't have that option. I personally think that research isn't enough because of the fact that women's preferences change over time. Except for a tiny minority of women, the differences between the male preferences of women and teenagers is miles apart. How can we make research better? By taking demographics of different kinds of women. Do the research on teenage women and adult women differently. That way we'll be able to know if it's women as a whole or teenagers specifically desiring bad boys. Why should teenagers be separated from women when it comes to research then? Majority of flicks like love stories are usually targeted at teenage women. From all of the information that I just presented, it does seem like women do prefer bad guys to good guys when it comes to short-term flings and when they are at the high fertility phase of their menstrual cycle, or according to evolutionary biology, women do prefer bad boys. Like, you can have a look at that Harvard document. And here is where I arrive to my next point. The reason why bad boys appeal to an enormous number of teenage girls is because their brains are still not developed properly yet. This is just my opinion, I didn't research on it. So because of their underdeveloped brains, they lean towards the evolutionary behavior of preferring bad guys rather than finding men who actually respect them for them. With experience, women will gradually realize that bad boys are not the way to go. I can say this with conviction because I was one of those girls who crushed on bad boys really hard, but now that I'm 25, I understand what men will respect me and which men will take advantage of me. Hence, I'm able to weed out the bad guys and nice guys and find a guy who has a combination of both bad and nice guys. The message I have to give men is, if you see teenagers crushing on bad boys, you don't have to be bad boys, quote unquote. Rather, work on being a genuinely awesome human being, and not just women will follow, but also other amazing men, and you can have great friends and an amazing significant other around you. Now, I would like to talk about the ramifications. I really think that popular media is profiting off of our, very evolutionary behavior, and I think this is why like a lot of chick flicks and a lot of like quote unquote love stories are targeted towards teenage girls rather than women. I understand women also watch these chick flicks, but some women watch it ironically. So I love Twilight, but I watch Twilight ironically. I think this can be a little bit harmful because guys might see, you know, girls or women going for quote unquote those kinds of bad guys, and they will feel insufficient. And I would like to tell them that you don't have to feel insufficient, because if a woman is, you know, wanting a bad guy, it just means that she has not matured yet, because pure bad guy is not very good news. Now here I'd like to give my opinion on bad boys. Like I said, I have fallen for a great deal of bad boys throughout my life. As a teenager, I was a huge fan of Justin Bieber, and he was kind of a bad boy for me. And the reason why I was drawn to them is because of the mental trauma that they have, and this preconceived notion that, you know, if they share it with someone, which is not wrong per se. I used to think that if they share it with someone, they will be a better person, but I was wrong in thinking that they will be a better person by just sharing it, because a person is not gonna change if they don't want to change on their own. So this is the mistake that I made. And the other was the fact that I think the recklessness and the devil may care attitude, like growing up, I very much concentrated on my studies, but the backbenchers were very, very intriguing to me because of the fact that they didn't care, and I always cared about my studies, and I think because of that I was very drawn towards them. But now that I'm 25 years old, my preferences, they've changed, and I don't really think like I get attracted to bad boys. Like once in a while, of course, I'm gonna be like, wow, you know, especially when it comes to TVs, I'll be like, wow, he's really sexy. But apart from that, there is nothing, you know, like a strong desire to be with that particular person. I think as girls, we have to search for men who actually respect us for who we really are, and for men, like, they should also be respected for who they really are, rather than trying to become someone else that they're not. Because a lot of guys, they don't like to be reckless, they're very, very responsible, and they respect women from the very bottom of their heart. And I really think that demonizing those kinds of men as quote unquote nice guys is not a good thing. And the final thing that I have to say is that when I claim nice guys here, I'm not talking about the, you know, the negative connotation nice guy. I'm generally talking about the nice guy, and bad guy. Thank you very much for watching this video. Share it if you want, because I would love to have, like, you know, 100 subscribers, I guess. And again, thank you very much to the people who considered subscribing to my channel, and I hope you like, comment, tell me how you liked this video. Probably it was filled with a lot of jargon. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you liked it, let me know. And thank you very much. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye. 再见.